Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Thank you all so much for joining us. I can't wait to dive into all of the content that we have to get through today. We have a really great presentation plan and an amazing guest speaker on with us who just so happens to also be twinning with me today. My webinar twin, Tyler, is here. We're both matching in black just for this webinar today. So welcome, Tyler, and welcome to everyone on this call. Hey there. Yeah, so for folks joining, I just want to give people another couple of minutes to hop on and get situated. So for everyone on this call, I do want to make sure that you're able to use the GoToWebinar question box feature within the GoToWebinar panel. That question box feature is essentially going to be like your chat feature for today. So I'll be able to see all of the responses that you put into that question box there. And you won't necessarily be able to chat with other attendees, but that's essentially your chat feature for today. So to get us all started, I would love for you to just type into that question box, say hello, let me know where you're calling in from today. One of the great things about these webinars is they connect folks from all different corners of the world here for one common goal, which is to improve our marketing. So I'll call out some of the responses as they come in, but I just want to see who we have on the call today, where you're calling in from. For example, I am calling in from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm based out here, born and raised here, and I love it. It is home to me. So let's see, we have a few people already popping in. We have Natalie from Ohio. Hello, Natalie. Ian from Arizona. Lara from Louisville, Kentucky. Hello. Tennille from Cape Coral, Florida. Tyler from Kansas City. Brian from Mexico. Jennifer from Florida. Russell from Texas. Vincent also from Boston. We have Corey from Canada. Hello, all of the Canadian friends. Another friend from British Columbia there. We have Carly from Dallas. Some folks from New York City, Christina from Phoenix, Arizona, some folks from West Virginia, Wisconsin, tons of people typing in right now. I wish I could call out every single one of you, but if you notice, there weren't a lot of locations that I said more than once. So it really is amazing that no matter where we are, we're all here for, again, that common goal of, showing up for our marketing. So with that being said, I'm going to kick off today's webinar with a couple of housekeeping items. For everyone on this call today, please note that this will be recorded. So you don't have to worry about taking notes or anything like that. You'll get the materials in your inbox later today. That includes a copy of the slides and a recording. Also, please note that all of our webinar recordings can be easily found on the WordStream and LocalIQ YouTube channels. So just navigate over onto YouTube, type in LocalIQ or WordStream, click on our channel, and you'll be able to see all our past webinar recordings there. So if you want to catch up on any of our old ones or see this webinar recording, you can find that there later on today. So also, the reason why I had you all practice using the question box is I want you to feel comfortable typing in your questions throughout the webinar, and be sure to stick around for the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Again, we have a guest speaker expert here today to answer your questions in what feels like almost a one-on-one setting. So if you attended any of our past webinars, you know our Q&A sessions are very in-depth. It's a really unique experience, so be sure to save some questions for the end for that. So for everyone on this call, I want to get us onto the same page as to who LocalIQ is. Now, some of you might be already working with us, and that's wonderful. Some of you might be totally new, and that's great too. And some of you might be familiar with us or familiar with and working with our sister brands, Reach Local and WordStream. So for everyone on this call, I want to get us up to speed here that LocalIQ is a fully integrated growth marketing platform that marries innovative technology that you can't find anywhere else and unparalleled expertise and service to give your business what it needs to thrive and prosper. So how exactly does LocalIQ do this? Well, technology is at our core. So our platform is running AI optimized technology informed by over 1 million LocalIQ campaigns. That's proprietary technology that you can't find anywhere else. Also, we give you tools at your fingertips to make the menial tasks of marketing a lot quicker. So put time back into your day so that you can focus on managing your business, managing your team, rather than focusing on all those little tasks that marketing requires. And then also, we've been in the marketing game for over 15 years, which if you think about the age of digital marketing, it's really not much older than that. So we've been there through it all. We've been through all the ups and downs and the shifts within the landscapes and the platforms, and we're here to tell that story. So one thing we're really, really proud about here is that we are a premier partner with all the major advertising platforms. So this isn't just something granted to any digital marketing platform out there. It's really only given to businesses that display clear campaign success for customers, display thought leadership within the field, and meet a rigorous set of requirements for each platform. So we're really proud of that, and we want you all to know that as well. A little bit about me, your webinar host and facilitator today. My name is Susie. It's wonderful to meet you all. I'm a senior content marketing specialist over at Local IQ, where I write educational content for the Local IQ and WordStream blogs on everything under the marketing sun, from SEO to display ads to PPC to social media, anything and everything. I've written about it and created content around it. And how I got into this role was I formerly was a digital marketing consultant over at WordStream, where I was coaching businesses of all shapes and sizes through the day-to-day best practices on platforms like Google Ads, Facebook ads, and so on. So I took that real life experience and applied it to the educational content that I write today. And like I mentioned, I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts. My favorite season is winter, which is kind of an unpopular opinion, sadly is coming to an end. It's been a very rainy spring. So looking forward to things clearing up here in Boston, but you can see here, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, I do, or X as we call it, I do share out future webinars, articles folks and advertisers should be aware of, and so on. And with that, I'll pass it on to our guest speaker and presenter for today, Tyler.
Well, unlike Susie, my favorite season is spring. So a little more normal, I think, a little more fun than winter, I would say. But I live in Dallas, so it's plant season, around this time of year. So super excited that we are right on the cusp of it. So I'm the senior manager over custom solutions. So we're kind of that weird team that's actually not really product supported per se, but we work very closely and we inform product because we're working directly in the publishers all the time with a lot of the tools and new goodies that are coming out regularly. So I've been in the industry for over 10 years and I live in Dallas. So let's go Dallas and all my natives on this call right now. One of my favorite things, I love to find rare whiskeys. I've actually been to Scotland and I've toured some of my favorite distilleries. And I'm gonna tilt my camera for just a second. I'm a board game aficionado. That's my beautiful little wall here. For my super board game nerds, that's Gloomhaven up at the top, yes, and some other fine jewels down at the bottom. So that's a bit about me.
That is so cool. I envy that board game collection, Tyler. That's pretty impressive. All right, great. So the last couple of things that I do want to mention is a really common question that we get on these webinars is, where can you learn more about the topics that we cover here? I'm going to be so transparent that this hour is going to fly by, right? So if you ever feel like you need a little bit more time to sit with any of the topics that we cover here today or any of the topics we cover on our webinar, I highly recommend you navigate over onto Local IQ or the WordStream websites and check out our blogs. We cover everything we cover on these webinars in depth over there. And also be sure to follow us on social media. We share out notifications for future events. So if you want to join more webinars in future, definitely be sure to follow us, turn on your post notifications and so on. We also share out platform updates, interesting articles and so on that advertisers should be aware of. You can find Local IQ on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and YouTube, and then WordStream on LinkedIn, Twitter, or X, Facebook, and YouTube as well. And Tyler, I will say, after you said that you were from Dallas, a few folks already typed in, woo, Dallas, Dallas represent. So you got a lot of Dallas folks on today.
All right.
Cool. All right, great. So if you've attended any of our past webinars, you know I love to keep our listeners on their toes. So to warm you all up to this topic today, I'm just going to hit you with a quick pop quiz. And I want you to type into that question box. Let me know, what is your biggest challenge with AI or artificial intelligence right now? What are your concerns? What are you struggling with? Have you tried it? Are you new to it? There is no right or wrong answer. There's probably going to be a lot of different answers coming in, but go ahead and let me know in that question box and I'll call out some of the responses here. We just want to get a quick pulse check on how everyone's feeling about AI, what you might be worried about, and so on. So let me know and I'll call out some of the responses. Tons of things already coming in here. We have a few folks saying totally new. Mel is saying she's learning it. Definitely, I think we're all still in that learning phase with artificial intelligence a little bit. Parker says he has a little bit of fear that it's going to make his job completely obsolete. Totally valid. Gio says he's working on prompt applications. Margot says she's working on it as well. April says she's working on some prompts from AI too. Peter's concern is keeping secrets of it from it. Totally funny. I get that. Bevan says not knowing how to use it for my benefit definitely can be a challenge, making it work for your business and your marketing. James says he doesn't know much about it. Totally fine as well. Jason said he feels like it's moving too fast. Definitely a valid concern. Sierra says it's a little overwhelming, hard to know what AI softwares and tools to use. Definitely, we cover a lot of different AI software and tool options on our blogs, so definitely check that out. That's valid. Michelle says she's still working at it, and so on. So tons of different responses coming in, and thanks for participating in that. I wish I could call out every single one of you all, but if you notice, there weren't a lot of answers that I said twice, right? Everyone had a slightly different response, a slightly different answer, and that's because every business is unique. All of your teams and your bandwidth and your resources are going to be different. So as we're going through these generalized best practices and things to know today, I want you to be thinking about how it can apply to your specific business and your specific unique situation, because at the end of the day, everyone's going to have, a different experience with their AI in marketing. So we're going to talk quickly, just an overview of AI in marketing, and then we'll get into AI and social marketing with Tyler, and then we'll jump into some thought starters in the Q&A for you all. So let's just get a quick refresher on how AI has emerged into marketing. How is it being spread? How are businesses using it? I love to just go through a few of these like core terms, because I think with AI booming right now, there's a lot of terms being tossed around and a lot of jargon being tossed around within the marketing industry across all of the AI industries. So we of course know that AI is of course artificial intelligence, which is machine learning, basically where this algorithm is going to do the task that you provided to do for you. And then also AI and marketing is of course using that within your digital marketing, to perhaps create collateral or to create images and so on. And then generative AI, which is primarily those use cases that I just talked about, is a specific type of AI that is made to generate or create things for you. So again, thinking about that marketing collateral. So that's mostly what you'll see when you're looking at AI in marketing, is a generative AI. So why is AI so important? Well, 54% of businesses have already seen increased cost savings and efficiencies because of implementing AI in their business processes in their marketing. So over half of businesses are already seeing it and are using it and seeing success with it. With that, it can also increase your leads. So any lead gen based businesses on here can really benefit from AI, as it can increase your leads by as much as 50%. And if you're wondering how many businesses are already using this, if your competitors are maybe using it, well, these stats here prove that odds are they likely are. And interestingly enough, when we're looking at AI and social, one of the top use cases for AI in marketing is to use AI to create social media images and social media copy, as we see here. So let's talk through the 6 main ways to use AI in social media marketing to drive real leads. So the first way that you can implement AI and incorporate AI into your social media marketing is through analyzing your social media engagement and your overall reporting metrics. So you can have AI automatically, pumping out these automated reports like you see with this screenshot of our marketing dashboard here, and helping you to analyze and draw conclusions and data-backed conclusions from the raw data that you're being pulled into from your social media platforms. So you could use it to see what types of social posts perform best, maybe testing and looking at the best times to post and your ad scheduling as well, and also looking at when your audience is most active. And with that, I'll toss it over to you, Tyler. Any thoughts here on using AI in reporting?
Yeah, I would say the biggest piece here is that it takes the guesswork out of a lot of things, right? Because I feel like us as marketers, right, we tend to be very opinionated on a lot of things, and we've developed a lot of based on past campaigns, resources, things we've done effectively. But AI really takes a lot of the guesswork out of that at the end of the day, because we're looking at things that are actually happening, who's engaging, what's being engaged with the most, times of day, those sorts of things, like Susie had just said. So I think the biggest takeaway for this slide is less guesswork and more science behind what we do in marketing, and more data-driven decisions, honestly.
Totally agree with that. And thank you for that kind of additional piece of explanation there, because I definitely agree. And with that, looking to other ways that you can incorporate AI in your marketing is, creating personalized content. This is going to be the primary use case that we'll see for AI in marketing, because you can use it to curate ideas, brainstorm, and so on. So you want to use it to create social posts that you could potentially edit and customize before scheduling, and also getting like caption ideas, and potentially even also like responses to comments, which we'll get into a little bit more of that later. But there's just a lot of collateral that goes into social media marketing, right? You're thinking about your images, your videos, potentially your closed captioning for your videos or those scripts. You're also thinking about your captions and your hashtags and so on. So you could have it brainstorm hashtag ideas. You could have it brainstorm caption ideas. You could have it even, you could even alter this prompt example here. And we have a whole article on AI prompt examples on the Look Like You blog that I highly recommend. But there's a lot of ways that you can really finesse your prompts within AI, whatever AI tool you're using, to get a better, higher quality result from the generative AI tool that you're using. So for example, even in this one here, we could probably brainstorm a few ways to improve this by potentially saying, please include emojis, or mention that try and encourage bookings for my lawn care business, whatever it might be. There's a lot of ways that you can manipulate your AI tool to help you create social media content. However, while we are kind of suggesting this, and this is like a very good way to kind of ease your way into using AI for social media marketing and a very common use case for generative AI, please know that anything that AI creates still needs that fine-tune editing from a real person, from you, making sure that you're giving it the final green light, you're reviewing it, and you're giving it that personalized human touch, right? So nothing that AI creates raw should be going directly to publishing, right? Nothing should be going live that AI creates without having a look at it first, without editing it or tweaking it, because you'll find that your initial results from your generative AI tool, while it might be on par for what you're looking for, you'll probably need to give it a few tweaks or a few pushes, pulls here and there to really make it personalized to your business and your brand messaging. But with that, I'll stop talking. Tyler, what do you have to say about creating personalized content with AI?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing, y'all do a pulse check anytime that you guys are creating content through generative AI and ask, does this sound weird or does this sound awkward, right? Because as you guys start to kind of suss that out, like that's the biggest thing. You don't want somebody to actually question, hey, is this generated by AI? Because that, obviously detracts from the message you're trying to relay, and it can impact your credibility. The couple other things that I think are really important to call out here as well is that while we're starting to use tools that are separate, like ChatGPT, and there are some that are designed just for images and stuff as well, we're starting to be in the early phases of testing tools where they're building ads from end to end. So I was fortunate enough to be on a call earlier this week with our product team, where we have started testing one of those tools with some of the bigger partners in this space who are really starting to push that envelope. So we're not far enough along yet to really bring it to market just yet. But as somebody had called out earlier, it's very much in its infancy. So over the next year or two, we're just going to continue to see the space get even more disrupted. So I'm super excited about the impacts it'll have on our messaging, our creative, and so forth in the future.
Right. I'm so excited for that. I'm so glad you brought that up because I'm really looking forward to seeing how that shakes out over the next year, for sure. All right, great. So the third, way you could incorporate AI into your social media marketing is through social listening. So social listening is how you're going to be, really gauging your business's online reputation when it comes to social media. So monitoring your social media brand for brand messages, mentions, or feedback, people tagging you, commenting about you, talking about you, whether they tag you or not, can be very insightful information for how your business is viewed by your target audience. You can also use this, and I alluded to this earlier, to draft replies to comments and reviews, which we know is really important because you should be responding to all reviews, even the negative ones, which I know isn't fun and it is tough, but when you respond to them, it gives your business an overall better reputation by, again, showing that you care and that you acknowledge all reviews, not just the good ones, but the bad ones too. So regardless of whether you're crushing it and getting great reviews, which I hope you all are, and that's awesome, be using AI to respond to those reviews or those comments on social media. And then also, again, finding those negative posts and responding and addressing customer pain points, concerns, and so on. So Tyler, I feel like you have a few different thoughts here when it comes to social media listening, so I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I would say the biggest advantage in this space for social listening is speed, right? Because as you guys know at this point, clients have this need for speed. They want to know that their concerns are being addressed in a timely manner. So the reality is with social listening, it takes all of that extra time that you would take normally out of the equation, right? To jump between Facebook, Google, Yelp, any other platform where you could be present. It gives you quick access, right? So you can respond. And I think the other big thing beyond just speed, as you guys know at this point, listings, we're everywhere, right? If you're a business, you could be in places where you didn't even build a profile. So the reality is with social listening tools, it allows you to be able to respond in certain situations that where there could be negative reviews you didn't even know about that could be harming your reputation and your ability to monetize. So I feel like social listening tools, out of all the tools that we have today, it's like about protecting the front line. This one's less about overall brand messaging, which some of that does come into play in how you respond and your brand voice and those sorts of things. But this really is about making sure that your brand fidelity and your front face always looks good. And it's kind of as Susie said as well, the negative reviews will make it really personal, you guys. Nobody likes to do business with a business that is just 5 stars left and right. I don't know about y'all, but as I'm scrolling through DoorDash and I'm looking for certain businesses, I feel like 4.5 is like the gold standard for a really solid business. And then like 4.7 is like amazing, right? So at the end of the day, you guys are looking for not just perfect reviews, we're looking for some of those negative reviews. So when I'm going through those, and y'all may do the same, I don't really look at the 5 stars so much anymore. I'll go to the bottom and I'll find those 1 star reviews, and I'm less concerned about necessarily how angry that client was. I'm more concerned by the speed in which the business responded and the solution that they gave. So these types of tools are critical for that, because without them, you're convoluted, you're everywhere, you're trying to dig. You could spend hours a day trying to follow this, especially if you're a larger business, you fall into the medium size to large enterprise. It's just not possible. So these tools, it's really an automation tool in this case, where it just brings it all in house under one roof, and you can go boom, boom, boom from end to end. So this one, amazing for protecting brands.
Agreed with all of that. And I really appreciate you calling out just like, again, the importance of like, it's okay if you're not getting a perfect 5 stars all the time. If anything, that's again something we as consumers are looking for. So seeing that you're using AI to kind of help supplement some of that response that you are getting out in the social media world can be really helpful. So thanks for that, Tyler. For our fourth point here, we want to talk about how you can use AI for lead generation and conversion actions. So again, making sure that you are able to automate a lot of your processes. AI makes that a lot easier for you. So for example, you might use AI for an target automated email sequence that you would see here, like in this example through the Local IQ platform, we are able to, again, automate those emails accordingly. You can also use AI to potentially segment out and personalize emails, which can, again, help with your overall lead and conversion rates. So making sure that you're able to not only capture leads, but also close them into actual conversions. AI can be a big help with that through email. Also, it can provide promotion ideas. So if you feel like your leads or conversions are coming in a little slow and you're not sure what new promotions to do around, this time of year, or how to pick up business, you could go into any of these AI tools and just ask it a simple question like, how do I, increase leads or conversions for my business at this time of year? I feel like be so for real with your AI tool. Honestly, I feel like the more thorough your prompt and the more honest your prompt, you'll get a more personalized and authentic response. So that's just one idea. If you want to just brainstorm some promotion ideas, how do I do a giveaway? What are the steps that I need to, consider when creating a giveaway or something like that, where you're looking to generate leads that way, is a really good example of how you can use AI. Also, again, creating copy for those lead generation campaigns. So maybe you are, again, feeling like conversions are a little slow, so you want to switch up your CTA. Have AI generate your CTA copy. Maybe you brainstorm a few different CTAs or calls to action, right? Of I'm always using a learn more button. What's something else that I can put in that button that could entice users to download my white paper or whatever it may be? And again, automating that email process, the follow-up processes, even like, for example, the scheduling processes as well, is another example, like for service-based businesses, of how you could use AI to really pull in those leads and close those leads or those sales. I feel like I covered this one pretty in depth. Tyler, do you have anything you want to add here? Totally fine if not.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing on this one, I really want to hone in on the nurture sequences, right? Because when you talk about this, it's less about taking the human element out of it. It's more about eliminating the bottlenecks in the nurture sequence, right? Because when you go to nurture, I don't know, you guys, those of you who've been in sales, sometimes it can be tiring. All the touch points that you can go through, making sure that you're staying top of mind when you're trying to close a client. So when you put AI into the equation, in this case, it kind of keeps you accountable in some ways, almost by default. So that's really where the big advantage here is, right? When you guys are trying to nurture and bring those leads and kind of bring them to the table and close. And that's when you need the human element, right? Is when you're closing, you're sitting at the table and actually talking through those needs. People in this day and age, like they're aware that there will be some automation in the process. So it's not a drawback for them to know that there's some automated messages going out. It's more of it's just a gentle reminder to say, hey, have we booked that meeting yet? Have we had that cost needs analysis? Those sorts of things, right? To set, the playing field for where you need to go with our marketing strategy. So I would say this is a huge win as far as it goes to closing, on the sales cycle overall.
Those are some great examples that you called out too in the nurture process of like, again, just staying on top of those small meetings that you need to have or touch points that you need to have with potential customers or current customers can really make all the difference there. And okay, we're going ahead a couple of slides here to our next point, which is of course using AI for ad targeting. This can be a really powerful way to take your AI strategy within social media marketing up a notch. So you can use AI powered targeting for greater effectiveness across different platforms. So if you're looking to get more conversions and a better ROI, you could have AI potentially brainstorming different audience strategies for you, or even creating audience lists for you or managing audience lists for you. You could also have it use different targeting options. For example, all of these platforms have AI powered ad targeting options within them. And I know we'll kind of get into that a little bit when I toss it over to Tyler, but a lot of other businesses have already started integrating AI technology into the ad management platforms. And again, the platforms themselves are offering a lot of AI powered ad campaigns, campaign types, ad formats, and so on that are meant to serve and behave in a specific way to attract the perfect audience for your business. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this point?
Yeah, so this is one that's kind of a soapbox for me, y'all. And this goes back kind of to the early eras when digital marketing started to break out. And I would even say like in the traditional eras of marketing in general, when businesses really started to get focused on that, which we could say that goes back hundreds of years, thousands of years. I would say the biggest thing that AI has the power to do is unlock new customers that we've never had access to. Because as you guys all know, and I'm sure we've all been a part of these pitches, clients get so excited about talking about who their ideal customer is. And sometimes digital marketers and sales reps, we talk about those same things, right? Because it's a sexy topic. It's easy to talk about, hey, who's your ideal demographic? We can get in front of those folks. Whereas I feel like AI, it's changing the equation entirely because we're no longer having to discuss like who do we think our product is designed for. We're relying on these platforms and tools that are getting in front of people who've shown actual signals that would lead to an actual conversion in that space, as opposed to just being, hey, they fall into this bucket or they think this way and we think that this is who our ideal person is. We're more focused on the end result, not necessarily the who. So I feel like AI has the ability to, and I won't go too far into the ether on this one, but like make the world a better place in some ways, guys, because marketing, we do have the power to do that. We're all in the business to do good things, provide things for our customers that they need to enrich their lives. And again, before AI, when we had all these custom targets that we would put into Facebook or Google and all those things, we would cut out, potential people who could take advantage of what we're trying to bring to the table. So again, this is one of those. I could go on for days, y'all. So the beauty behind all this, we leverage, a lot of the tools that are at the publishers. So as you guys have probably heard, Facebook's Advantage Plus is really taking off big time. All the other publishers have those extended audience features. We check those boxes quite a bit as of late because we have results. But then beyond that, kind of where like Q's really niche in the space comes is that we're not one publisher. We are a media buying partner. We're an agency. So we've been working on tech for the past few years that kind of combines the use of all these publishers under one united strategy. So it's one piece, it's one bit of our product portfolio. It's not the right fit for every business per se, but it's slowly becoming the correct fit for a lot of our small and medium-sized businesses. And it's what we call XMO internally. And I won't unpack that too much today, but envision a campaign that's publisher agnostic. It can hit things between PPC, social. We're starting to incorporate more video-based media buys as well, display, and everything in between. And the way that our algorithms are being designed is to drive the most results that our clients are looking for. So leads tend to be number one. So again, our AI and the algorithms will favor that if that's the goal that we want to achieve. But then we've got other goals that we're developing as well, like reach, and some others as well. So it's really, really cool. We take advantage of AI that's available to publishers, and then we layer that with our technology as well to kind of create what's the best way to say it? A package that takes the guesswork out of the equation, and we just focus on the results you guys are needing. So that's my soapbox, Susie, on ad
Yes,
targeting.
I love that. Thank you for
Yeah,
that, and thank you for those expert insights into, our product and our AI optimizations, which is it's really cool. And like you said, we could talk about it all day because it's hard to squeeze all this into one hour webinar because this is really just the tip of the iceberg of how AI can optimize, across platforms and within individual platforms as well. Like you said, I feel like a lot of businesses can sometimes end up limiting themselves because they've tried this tried and true audience for so long, and AI can really open up that audience a lot more. So
exactly.
with that said, our last point of how you could work AI into your social media marketing is again for creative support. So creating visual content at scale, and I'm not just talking about creating copy or content. I'm talking about specifically images, designs, creative assets, and so on. So again, you could give it a text-based prompt to create product images. Again, help you with video editing, buffering, and set up with those video scripts. Just all those different ways that you can work it into your creative assets. Also, you could also potentially get, again, these custom images here. You could get variations, A/B test, if you want to A/B test different creative, different colors, things like that. You could also use AI tools for that. So kind of just a quick last one to round out our list. Tyler, totally fine if you want to sit back on this one because you talked so much on that last point, but is there anything you wanted to add here? Totally fine if not.
I would say just real brief on this one, y'all. View it almost just like having access to like an editor that you would pay or an idea creator, right? Because if you look at some of the best content that has ever been produced, it's not made in a bubble and it's not made by one person. So from music to movies to creative things, all those sorts of things, see it as like having almost like uncaged access to something that is an additional voice that helps you hone the message you want to say in an eloquent way. So that's kind of my 2 cents on this one. Yeah.
I totally agree. I like that equivalency of like, it's kind of like, your typical design freelancer or consultant or something like that, where you would use, get their thoughts or, use their abilities to create an initial image or a draft or whatnot. Again, because of course, depending on the tool, there's going to be varying results. So using that as a starting point to get your images or your creative off the ground is just a really helpful way to just save you time. And then you can fine tune it from there. Great. So with that, I know that was a ton of information. I've been in marketing for, a hot minute. Tyler's been in marketing for a long time as well. And even for us, AI and marketing is just, it's such an in-depth topic, like we said. So if you feel like this was a lot, no worries. I'm going to round out kind of what we talked about here. And again, you'll get the recording and a copy of the slides later. And you can always check out our blogs on Look Like You and WordStream to learn more. But like I said, this hour does fly by, so I want to give you all a few thought starters before we jump into the Q&A. So again, when it comes to social and AI, here's what you need to know. So of course, AI isn't going anywhere. We saw that with the stats at the beginning of the presentation, right? Tons of businesses are already using AI. Tons of businesses are already seeing positive results with using AI. So you want to become comfortable with AI technology and identify the best ways to use it for your business. And it's totally fine if that feels out of your comfort zone. And I know even for me, I'm in a very techie role for not being a very tech savvy person in my personal life. Like I'm the worst with that kind of stuff. But so, tackling AI for me when it came about was definitely a challenge. And I feel like a lot of folks probably feel the same way. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's not going anywhere. So we have to become familiarized with it and comfortable with it to see success. And that's okay. So maybe you sit down and think about your goals and think about where you could use AI to fill in the gaps in your marketing strategy. Maybe you already have a design team that's crushing it with creative assets. So you don't really need AI to, work into that. But potentially, you're struggling with your reputation management. So then you use the AI to fill in that gap. So it's really going to come down to like your goals and what your business is unique needs are. And then also, I think we kind of reiterated this throughout the presentation, but I really want to hone in on the fact that with great power from AI comes great responsibility, right? So I cannot, stress enough the importance of needing to edit and review and refine all of your AI created assets and AI created responses and AI created content in general across social media, across channels. It's really, really important. So that way you can really perfect your social media strategy. And also there are plenty of resources out there. So there's free options, paid options for AI tools, publishers, and digital marketing partners like LocaliQ. We're an example of an AI-powered digital marketing platform in and of ourselves. So if you are looking for resources or tools, we're a great starting point right here. You can look online. There's free options, paid options, depending on your budget, depending on your bandwidth. Again, like some are going to require payment and account setup, and you're going to have to upload, a lot of things like brand assets and things like that to give it to make sure that it has brand guidelines to go off of. So some of the tools are going to require a little bit of setup to give you more personalized results, and then others are going to be quick, like ChatGPT is free and you can just sign right in and use it right away. Again, we do cover options of AI tools throughout the WordStream and LocaliQ blogs, so definitely check out those blogs. You can always just search AI tools, LocaliQ or WordStream, and find some of our articles coming up for that, because I did see a lot of questions coming into the chat of which AI tools do we recommend, what could we use, what AI tools are out there. And then at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong answer for the AI tools that you use, right? There's going to be tons of different options. So you really just kind of have to, make those initial searches, check out our list, check out platforms, like LocaliQ, where we are providing, that AI optimized technology right within the services that we provide. But that's just a couple of examples there. So with that, I know, again, this was a ton of information and there was a ton of, questions coming in. So if you feel like you have more questions, I saw a lot of questions coming in about personalized, situations and specific business situations. I'm going to launch a poll across everyone's screen here. And if you feel like you want to use AI in social media a little bit more powerfully, you want to fully leverage the power of AI in your social media marketing, definitely opt yes into that poll to get an assessment at a time of your choosing. After that way, you're able to talk with an expert about your individual questions. So again, I feel like I saw a lot of questions coming in about, specific business types, specific industries. This is your opportunity to get those questions answered in a one-on-one setting rather than us, having to go through those questions with the group on this call. So again, I'm going to leave that poll up. That poll is going to take over your whole screen. It's going to remain on your screen. So this is more switching into the audio only portion of the webinar. So once you answer that poll, you can sit back and relax and go ahead and listen in on the Q&A segment. So while everyone's answering that poll and you finish hanging that poll, hanging out, listening in, I'm going to switch into the Q&A portion of the webinar here. So Tyler, get ready. There are tons of questions coming in.
Let's go.
And and
Can I
I
use
wish
AI
we could
to
cover.
generate my responses?
Yeah, right. That's a funny. We should have thought of that. We should have plugged in some of these questions into AI and see what they answered.
That'd have been awesome.
But this is a great point. So I want to see if you have questions that you still want answered and you haven't put them into the question box yet, be sure to add your questions into that question box now. Tons of questions here for you. Tyler, I want to start with one question. This is kind of coming from a couple of folks that I'm just going to loop into one because I think a lot of people were asking this. Do you find AI, and I think I could probably guess your answer that there is no answer to this question, but people wanted to know if you found that AI works particularly well on a specific social media platform. Like, is there one end all be all social media platform everyone should be using AI for? Is it a mix? What is your experience there?
Yeah, I would say pretty much it's across the board at this stage. As you guys know, Facebook and Google are really kind of kings in the space still, just for having been here so long and having obviously, a lot of the biggest buying power. But every single platform is at the point where they pretty much have an AI feature built in, especially for targeting. So I would say if you're not at least testing those and using those and kind of seeing what your results are going to be, you're robbing yourself of a portion of a really solid strategy. And it's not to say that, some things that can be pretty niche, it may not work out in the end. You may still want to go with some pretty niche targeting. But if you haven't at least tested it, I would really encourage you to do so. So yeah, it's hard to say that there's one that's better than another. Just embrace them all because it's really important to be any platform that's relevant to your brand. It's important to just engage with all the tools that you have available there.
Great response there. And something else, we're just going to switch gears from that, Tyler. Something else that a lot of people are commenting on is the social listening. Everyone was very interested on that point of using AI for social listening. Do you have any examples of, I think a lot of people would just wanted, a little bit further explanation into how specifically AI is used in social listening, how that works. Do you have any experience with that or any other like examples or use cases you could give us for how exactly to
Yeah.
expect AI using and being used in social listening?
Yeah, because obviously the easiest response in that case is like where reviews happen, on any like listings platform. But another one that, if you think about it for just 1 second, it's like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. How people engage and comment, and interact on your other social posts as well. Those are kind of the two core areas that I would say you have the most to gain from social listening. But beyond that too, on an occasion, there's some platforms where folks can actually, they'll say something about your brand, they'll mention you as well. It doesn't happen as much with small to medium-sized businesses, but when you get a shout out, sometimes you may not know about it. And that's where a social listening tool can become really helpful because there may be some advocacy going on that you could capitalize on that you wouldn't have otherwise known about. So it's like, and it's not to say that every situation you want to take advantage of it and reshare that post against your page or reach out to them and say, hey, can we use this as a testimonial? But that's another kind of more niche scenario that does come up from time to time as well, especially the bigger your brand is. And then on the flip side too, there may be some negative sentiment that's being shared about your brand that doesn't make it to any of your listings tools. So again, using a social listening tool that's really productive and really advanced can help you catch some of those as well. So that's kind of the biggest takeaways I would say. Shout outs that may happen on places that are not as familiar to you or places you wouldn't necessarily be able to look and find. Obviously listings, like I said, and then just moderating your posts in general. Those are kind of the core areas where listening tools really come into play.
Yeah, that I think brought a lot of clarity to a lot of the questions we were getting. So thank you for that, Tyler. A couple, like two other questions that I really want to ask you here that are coming in from a few folks here. One being, is there any tips you could give to folks for optimizing their AI prompts to get better results? Any tips or experiences or prompt examples that you have seen that you think work really well? Just people wanted your thoughts on how to best leverage AI with AI
Ooh.
prompts.
Yeah, that's actually a question I'm not as well equipped to answer, I would say, and the only reason is because it can vary so much by vertical to vertical. And again, I would say my biggest area of expertise in the space would come down to ad targeting. So I don't want to cop out of that answer per se, but maybe for another conversation or maybe a follow-up as well, we could kind of provide a list and follow up with those prompts that could be really helpful in the space. Would that work, Susie?
Totally agree. And I can honestly probably answer this question because I did write an article on the Local IQ blog that folks can check out on AI prompts, AI prompt examples, and best practices. But like I had mentioned earlier in the presentation, again, just making sure that you're personalizing it as much as possible. Tyler had a great point though that it is going to vary by tool, right? So every tool is going to give you different results. If you go into 3 different generative AI tools right now and give it the same prompt, you're going to get something different from each one. So I think it's first, the primary problem is probably finding the AI tool that works best for you. So it is going to be a little bit of like a trial and error or, testing situation. So you might have to go through a little bit of a testing phase with AI. And then also from there, once you find the right tool for you, fine tuning and practicing your prompts. So including things like, I think one helpful thing is always to tell AI how long or short you want the response to be. So if you're asking it, how can I generate leads for my lawn care business on Facebook, it could end up writing a super long response that you don't have time to skim through. So maybe you would say in 5 bullet points, what are the 5 things that I can do to start getting more leads on Facebook ads or something like that. So that's just one example of how you could like get some ideas or questions answered from AI. But fine tune like small details like that in your AI prompt are really going to make a difference, like how long you want it, what type of industry or business you're in, what your goal or purpose is for the generated content that is being created. But target audience for the content is also really important. So those are just a few examples. Again, tons and tons of questions coming in about AI tools, and I will again mention that we are a primary AI tool in and of ourselves here at Local IQ. So check out Local IQ, check out all of our AI proprietary technology that we incorporate into our digital marketing campaigns. If you want to check out more AI tools, AI tool options, examples, ideas, and more, definitely check out the Local IQ and WordStream blogs. Just type in AI tools Local IQ into Google, type in AI tools WordStream into Google, and you'll find our articles with AI tool lists. WordStream has a blog article on AI copywriting tools, and Local IQ has an article on some AI prompts that includes some AI tool options as well. So again, I'm not going to call out individual different AI tools that folks can use. A lot of people are asking for that, but I just want to reiterate that there are tons of different options out there, and that's why I'm not going to call out a ton of different individual AI tools, because it's going to be different for everyone and the use cases for it. So with that said, tons more questions coming in. I know we're getting close to time, but I know we're getting close to time. There's a lot of questions coming in, and I wish we could answer every single one. But with that being said, I want to just thank Tyler for coming on. Tyler, thank you for hopping on and giving this presentation today. Your insight and expertise was super appreciated. I know I learned a lot. I hope everyone on this call has as well. For everyone on this call, again, like I mentioned, you can find more information on the WordStream Local IQ blogs. You'll get the materials in your inbox later today, and you can find our webinar recordings on our YouTube channels. If you want to join more webinars like this in future, check out us on social media. We do these webinars monthly, sometimes twice a month. So we have another one coming up in March in 2 weeks. So definitely make sure you sign up for that. I hope to see you all there, and thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tyler.
See y'all next time. Thanks, Susie.